There is no place like home. There is no place like home. There is no place like home. In case you haven't figured it out, I'm home. And I've actually spent the last week kind of decompressing. I've had a lot to absorb. And my last 5 weeks have kind of been almost surreal, because so much, I mean so much happened, and there was just so much to absorb in such a small amount of time that my brain is still trying to catch up with it all. And this video is going to be more of a getting stuff off my chest and getting things out of my head than sharing a story. So you know, it's going to be very emotional for me, but it's one that I feel that I need to do, and put it out there. So if anyone else is going through this, they can understand that they are not the only ones going through this. And there's a lot of very strange people out there, and there's a lot of very strange things out there, and there's a lot of secrets. A lot of people live in closets, and it's amazing how you know, we have to wait till we're just so close to death for all these secrets to come out, and these closet doors to be opened. And you know, there's only been 3 times in my career as a healer where I've actually had to leave my house and go somewhere. Normally, I only work with people in my area, and I teach them what they need to do, and then they can call me anytime they want. I'm available to them, and then I can be over there within minutes. But so far, 3 times, I've actually had to leave my home and go where the person is at, and had to leave the comforts of my bed and my home and my security and my sanity. And I can say with total assurance to anyone wanting to be a healer that anytime that I've walked away from home and stepped into a situation away from my house, it's almost been like walking into a hornet's nest, or opening up a can of worms. Because 9 out of 10 times, well, actually for me it's been 3 out of 3, I've sat there and I've watched the person with the cancer lay in bed and sit there and go, how does this person deal with this? Because this is craziness in all 3 instances. And I can see how they ended up getting the cancer and the stress that was involved in living in that household. For the last few videos, I haven't told you who this person was, because I didn't have the okay, and then I got the okay, and I didn't feel right about uploading her videos, because I felt that the videos kind of demeaned her life in a way. So I decided not to do it. But as I learned with the life insurance policies and the funeral home and everything, once the person is deceased, you can personally just say anything that you want about them, and you know, and share everything, as long as you don't mention names of other people involved. And you know, so I'm going to go out here and tell you right now that it was my mother-in-law. And there's 2 reasons why I'm telling you that. One of them you'll find out in this video, and one of them you're going to find out in the next video, and I promise you the next video will blow you away. When I went up there, I was lied to about a lot of things. The cancer was so much worse than I was ever told to believe. The mass that she had in her stomach, the mass that was underneath her liver, was so big that it actually was squeezing off her transverse colon, and she wasn't able to get any food through there. She was vomiting every hour on the hour. I mean, there was a lot of mucus. I have never, ever, well, not, I can't say ever, because I vomited a lot of mucus, and I passed a lot of mucus, but I've just never seen so much mucus in my life coming out her nose, coming out her mouth. She was passing it rectally. She was urinating it. I mean, there was so much mucus involved. And like I said, it's just been very surreal. The first week that I was there, I know some of you have watched the video where the grandchildren were in tents. And the first week that I was there, that became such a nightmare that I actually had to call the police and had to have them physically removed out of the home, because they actually became violent with me because I needed the peace for her. And I had them physically removed and restraining orders were put into place. The second week that I was there, we had a bunch of women come forward stating that her husband had done some things that he shouldn't have done, and there was some charges pressed, and adult protective services were involved, and child protective services were involved, and it was very crazy. And the third week that I was there, we had to have a woman removed from the house who insisted on coming over every day, and she was very pushy, and she was very nasty, and she was very manipulative, and she had this very ugly aura about her. And as they were removing her from the home, she decided to yell out that her and my mother-in-law had been lovers for the last 10 years. And of course, my husband felt the need to confirm that, and there was confirmation to that. And I don't even know where to go with this. I just don't. It took me 40 years to write my first book, and it was written as a memoir. And I could write a book about all this, but it would have to be fiction, because no one in their right mind would ever believe what I went through up there, and the things that I saw, and the things that I heard, and the things that I witnessed. I just kind of look back, and it's almost like it didn't happen to me. It's almost like it happened to someone else. I can't even believe it. But one of the things that I did want to share with you guys is that in the whole 5 weeks that I was up there, I didn't see any love. There was no love in that house. I grew up in a family where my grandmother was such a loving soul. I mean, I can remember her saying, "Come on, honey, come in bed with me. Come lay down in bed. Have some chocolate. It'll make the whole world better. We'll watch some soap operas, and, everything will be great." And, I used to lay with my grandmother, and my grandmother was very loving. And I can't remember a single time when I walked into my house where my mother wouldn't throw her arms around me, and she would kiss me so hard that my cheek would literally burn. I mean, it felt like she was going to pull it out the other side. And in the whole 5 weeks that I was there, I did not see 1 ounce of love. And that was so sad to me. Some of the things that I saw, I mean, none of the animals received any love, any petting. They have a dog and they have a cat, and none of the children, and even, her and my father-in-law have been married for 54 years. And one of the strangest things that I seen was every morning he would get up and he would pour himself a bowl of cereal, and he would go into the back room to watch TV. And that just broke my heart for her. And I just thought, this is just the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And I went back one day and I asked him, I said, why aren't you sitting with your wife? I mean, you guys don't have much more time together. And I mean, these are precious days. You need to spend time with her. And he told me, I'm busy. I got to finish the show. I have to finish this show. And I just thought to myself, this is insanity. I can't wrap my mind around this. That this man is in the last days with his wife, who he spent 54 years with. And it's more important for him to watch a logging show, Swamp Loggers, than it is to be with his wife, who needs him right now more than ever. And, you know, when he did go near her, he would sit in the chair near her, and he would literally, he would pet her like a dog. And he'd go, "How are you doing today, honey?" And I was just like, this is so sad. This man doesn't even know how to show love. They had no communication. It was just unreal to me. And one of the things that just breaks my heart was one night, and I'm not, I don't show anger. I'm usually, I usually let things roll off my back. I'm not a very angry person. But I noticed that as I was there, for some reason, that was making me angry. That nobody was spending time with her. Nobody was showing her love at this very critical time in her life. And there was one night where she was throwing up violently at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he was no longer sleeping in bed with her. He was sleeping in another room because, you know, she couldn't even be touched because it was very painful. And she started violently throwing up, and I turned on the lights, you know, and I was helping her and giving her a tincture to stop the vomiting, and, you know, and I was rubbing her back and, you know, and hugging her. And he came out of the bedroom and he says, "What the hell's going on here? What is wrong with you people? Doesn't anybody get to sleep around here?" And I couldn't help myself. I couldn't. That was it. I snapped. And I told her, I remember looking at her, and I told her, I said, "If you'll excuse me," I said, "I need 1 minute." I said, "And I'll be right back. I promise." And I went in there, and I kicked the door open. And I remember yelling at him, and I can't remember all that I said, but one of the things that I said to him was, "What the hell's wrong with you, old man?" You know, I'm like, "I'm sorry if your wife's cancer, this woman that you have loved for 54 years, is interrupting your 22 hours of sleep. But I don't know, it was just unbelievable to me. She had all these family around, and even when they came to visit, they would just kind of put her off to the wayside. You know, they would all talk in front of her, but they wouldn't talk to her, and they wouldn't, I don't even know how to explain it, you guys. It was too much for me. And I noticed that every day she was refusing stuff, and then finally, the last 5 days that I was there, she refused to eat or drink, period. And I even asked her, I said, "Betty, you're not going to eat?" She told me no. And I said, "You're not going to drink anything?" And she says no. And I said, "Not even water?" And she said no. I said, "Well, if you don't drink anything, you're going to pass away." And she knew that. She knew that. And that's what she wanted. And 3 days before she died, before she passed away, she passed away November 6th at 5:30 p.m. And she only had pain for the last 2 days of her life. And I went for a walk because I had to kind of absorb all this and kind of take everything in, everything that was going on, because there was so much going on. There was so much ostrich syndrome going on, where everybody just had their head in the sand and they didn't want to be there and they didn't want to deal with the situation. And I was walking around the lake. I didn't take my camera. I just wanted to be inside my head. And I was walking around the lake, and I started having light bulbs just come on everywhere. And I told myself that when I went up there, I had a feeling that it wasn't to heal her. It was more to heal me. It was to learn things that I needed to learn in life. And that I was going to learn a lot from this journey. And I did learn a lot from this journey. And as I was walking around the lake, I started to realize, and I told you guys in one of my videos that I had a lot of things going on in my life, and it wasn't just the grandchildren, and it wasn't just her, and it wasn't just my father-in-law, and it wasn't just, it wasn't just everything. But I started to realize that the son, my husband, wasn't too much different than his father. And I had not realized it for a very long time, because I have so many beautiful friends. And I love you guys. I do love you guys so much. I have so many beautiful friends that call me on a daily basis to see how I'm doing, or they come by, or they bring me stuff, and they bring me food, and they invite me to go here and to go there. And I have so many loving friends. I have so much love from my friends that and even from my viewers. I mean, there's a few viewers who have actually found my phone number and have called me, and we've actually talked. I even talked to one of the viewers while I was up there. Actually, 2 or 3 of my viewers on YouTube while I was up there. And one of the viewers is actually going through this with his mother, and I hope to God that your mother is doing well. But I started to realize that because of all the love and the warmth that I receive from my friends, I never realized that I don't get it at home. And my husband is no different than his father. And he is his father's son. And then I started realizing, it kind of just clicked the light bulb, and it started having me need to focus on my relationship with their son, and how it was so much like their relationship, and what I'm going to have to do to change that. Because there was some huge fear instilled in me, and I started to realize that I don't want to end up in a bed with cancer while my husband is in the other room watching Swamp Waters and doesn't know how to show me any kind of affection. So that was a huge eye-opener for me. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months. If this whole thing that just has happened has opened his eyes and he's going to change, or if he's going to remain the same and I'm going to head south and be my own person and continue my journey alone. So I thought I would share that with you guys. It's a lot easier to share it now and get you guys in the loop than later on, and you guys are like, whoa, what just happened? But in closing this, I just want to say that the last few days that I was there, I came to realize why she actually had me go up there. And it wasn't to heal her. It's because she knew that I was a strong person, and she knew that I could take care of business. And she needed that because she knew how bad things were. I think, death does not come as a surprise to any soul. We already know how we're going to pass, and we've already decided what road we're going to take on our way out. And she knew that I could go in there and I could straighten up the family and I could remove who needed to be removed, and I could take care of her and keep her out of pain till the last minute. And I think she just didn't want to tell me the truth because she knew that I'm a healer. I'm not hospice. I wasn't there to help her die, which, by the way, I will be doing a video on hospice. I think from what I witnessed, and this is the second time that I've had to deal with hospice, and I just want to say that hospice is the most worthless piece of junk that of any kind of club, organization, anything. I will definitely be putting into my paperwork that I do not want hospice involved in my case at all when the time comes. I do not. I was very, very disappointed. This is the second time I've been very disappointed with hospice. When the pain finally set in the day before she died, and we were able to keep the pain away completely naturally. I think that when you take synthetic medication, it makes the liver work harder, it makes the kidneys work harder, it makes the lungs work harder, and it causes more pain instead of going naturally. I think if you know that you're going to pass, naturally is definitely the way to go. It's a lot less painful, and I've seen people go both ways, and trust me, naturally definitely was the way to go. I needed some morphine the last 2 days, and the hospice could not provide it for me on time. So I did have some hydrocodone in the house, and for all of you who are dealing with somebody with cancer and they are in a lot of pain, I was actually told this by someone, and God bless him. He, saved her and me. I couldn't get her to swallow pills because she could no longer swallow, and I was trying to mush them up because I was trying to give her like 3 at a time because they were very low dose, and I was mushing them up and mixing them in honey and giving them in her throat, and she couldn't. They would just sit in her throat. She couldn't swallow, and if she did swallow, she was throwing it back up. So someone called me and told me, take the pills and dip them in olive oil or coconut oil and insert them rectally. They will dissolve and the medication will get to her. And I can't bless this person enough for telling me that, because I couldn't stop the yelling and the screaming because of the pain. And I'm not so sure that it was the pain that the physical pain she was in. I felt it more as a mental pain. The anger that she was in. She was in a lot of anger. She had a lot of anger. And I can see why she had the anger. And I can see why she chose to leave instead of stay. Because when you're laying there on your deathbed and your husband is in the back room watching Swamp Loggers and The Walking Dead instead of sitting in a chair next to you holding your hand, or you have a daughter who calls you and tells you that she's out of town watching NASCAR races because that's more important than her mother passing away. Or your son has sent his wife to take care of you because he's too busy on the road and he has to make a living because he's a truck driver. Or you have grandchildren who are coming in and taking stuff out of your home before you even pass away, and don't even take the time to stop by your bed and say hi to you. And the only person giving you any kind of love and affection and making you laugh is a daughter-in-law who you hardly ever knew. I think that I would want to opt out too. So this video is dedicated to Betty Ann Stevens, who I should have got to know a lot sooner than I did, because she was actually a really nice person. And I never really got to know the real her. But I'm thankful that I was able to share the last month of her life, the last 5 weeks of her life, and I was able to get to know her. And even though there was a lot of things that I found out that maybe I shouldn't have, but you know, I got to see different sides of her and who she was. And after seeing the way her husband was, I don't condemn her at all for having a love affair with another woman. I don't. The whole family can't grasp their head around it. It's not hard for me at all. I can see. I guess when you're married to a dick, it's very easy to head the other direction. And you know, I'm very thankful for this journey, for the blessings that it brought to me. And you're going to be able to see one of those blessings in my next video. And for the lessons that it brought my way, and for the growth that it has brought to me. I can't say thank you enough. And I also want to thank everyone that took this journey with me from the beginning and knows that and knew where I was going and what I was going to do, and all the loving, supportive advice that I got while I was there, and all the loving and support and prayers that I received from all of you on a daily basis, in my emails, in my phone calls. And you know, I just can't thank you enough, because it really helped me through this journey. And it brought so much love to me that I was not seeing in that house. And it made me so grateful for all my friends and all the love that I receive, that I take for granted every day. Okay, so with that being said, I'm glad I was able to get all this stuff off my head, all this stuff off my mind, and continue to decompress, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of stress that I have to get rid of, and concentrate on myself for a little while, because I kind of had to let myself go. Even though I kept an eye on myself, I had to let myself go a little bit more than I like, and I need to focus the next week or two on actually meditating and getting inside my head and releasing everything, and you know, and dealing with everything that happened. So until next time, stay happy. And I really mean that. Stay happy. No matter what the cost, stay happy. Stay healthy. It's so important. I can't even begin to tell you how important staying healthy is. And please, please love one another. If you don't know how to love, learn how to love, take classes, read books, watch other people. Love, love, love one another. It's the most important thing that we can give to ourselves, to our family, and to this planet. Till next time.